Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. For some reason, Jeff was already in the stream before I put him in, but we're here to talk about Everton versus Southampton, a game live from Goodison Park tomorrow evening. I'm live from the Caribbean. I'm currently on a cruise, and these kids are back in the UK, shivering their tits off, talking about Everton. How are we both?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad, mate. I've just got unbanned off Twitter, so woohoo!
There are three certainties in life, isn't there? Death, taxes. Well, for Everton losing a game, and Jeff getting banned on Twitter. You could you'd win a few quid on that. How many times is that now?
I think 6 complete bans, and then I've had like a few like sort of temporary one. Like I've literally been like kicked off Twitter about 6 times, and then I've had a few other bans as well. So yeah, it's getting up towards double figures now.
Someone's got it in for you on there. Elon Musk has got your card marked.
He hates me, mate. He hates me.
Dan and yourself, how are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Loads going on with Everton. Been trying to keep up with it all.
Yeah, you're not
Obviously, we'll address a few things and stuff like that. But to be fair, I've been pretty hardcore on Everton, so should have all the information that we need.
Well, it's a good job because I'm a little bit out of the loop because of the time zone. We're 5 hours behind. By the time I get onto Twitter, I'm always looking at the dregs of the tweets at the end of the day and kind of missing what's actually been going on. But I believe it's been kicking off. I saw this morning that the fan advisory board member, Hannah of Hans Tours, has quit. And also Dave from the County Road Bobblers fan group, who is the vice chairman of the fan
advisory board.
No, not the fan advisory board. The fans forum has also quit. So people who are in.
Oh, he's frozen.
I've given up. Did you hear that?
You had a little freeze then, but then it come back.
Just saying, these people who've been in positions to make a difference, perhaps have given up and said, well, not given up, but they've seen no future really there. But what do you guys make of that then?
How can you argue with somebody who's deluded? Like that's a simple fact. Is that the fan advisory board? I don't want to say I told you so, but I'm going to say I told you so in this instance.
I don't even think it's that they're arguing with them.
It's pointless because it was basically put up as a method of shutting us up, but it does nothing. It has no effect on anything at all. The board are clearly not listening to any advice they give. Like supposedly the communication is supposed to be better. Really? Is it? We've had 2 formulaic letters and another stupid interview on TalkSport where, for some God unknown reason, like Farhad Moshiri seems to think that like all of his decisions have been decided by Everton fans. We wanted like that Spaniard to be our manager, and we wanted Sam Allardyce to be our manager. Apparently,
I think that's his bad English, to be fair.
I think it's bad brain cells. I think he's really good at like crunching numbers and conning like taxation systems, but he's got no idea about running a football club or engaging with like human beings. Because I don't think he's human. I think he is a computer with about as much sort of empathy and human sort of emotion as like. It makes Elon Musk seem like a normal human being, and that's saying something.
Has he gone and come back?
Yeah, you just carry on, mate.
It's crazy though, because just a little story. Obviously, people listen. I was doing like the letter had come out. First of all, the letter had come out, and then Everton fans was fuming with the letter because the letter was so poor. It kind of just put out there how bad we're run, and it was in our faces, and it made the fans angry. The letter did. So I thought, right, I'm just gonna go and do a space on Twitter because sometimes I do them on Twitter just for Everton fans to like put out how they feel. So I did a space as soon as that letter come out that night, and there was like 1,200 Everton fans in the space, and there was like reporters and everything in the space, like big people on Twitter in the space. And I said on it, I said, Moshiri is stupid doing this letter. Instead of doing a letter, he should have come out and he should have done a video. And he either should do it with his mate on white on the this. I said this at about 10 o'clock at night. He should do it with his mate on white and go on the Talk Sport properly, face to face, and give us a voice, because we don't know who wrote the letter. So I said all that in part of the space. Other stuff was said, and then the space ends. Wake up in the morning. Wake up. First thing I see on my Twitter, Moshiri's going on Talk Sport after I've said that, and I'm thinking, what the heck? I just said that. I thought I dreamed it, and then Moshiri, he didn't go on how I wanted him to, because I thought he should go on face to face and answer questions. But he just did a message on Talk Sport the day after, and it was a poor message again. And the message made fans even angrier, because the message was just, it was kind of like, I don't care what you think sort of message. It was just, I've done this, I've done that.
Well, this is the thing, and this is something I've been saying for a long time. And I was saying it all through the 27 campaign, and I'm saying it now again. People might not want to hear it. Our owner does not give a crap. Our board don't care. All they care about is doing their own thing. Nothing is going to change so long as Farhad Moshiri owns the club, and Ken Wright and his cronies. They're all still on the ins. That there's clearly no. There's not going to be any changes. No one's going to do anything about it. And change is only going to happen if we get relegated. That's it. This
is where I disagree, though. I'd just like to point out that I do disagree on that.
If we stay up, I don't see change coming in the next summer either. I think they'll just try and carry on like as if, everything's fine, because I don't think they recognise reality. I just don't think they recognise reality. I don't think they care.
I think they were wrapped up in their own delusion. So I think when you don't actually realise, the problems in front of your eyes, then you wouldn't expect change. I personally don't think anything's going to happen. I don't think we've got money to spend in January. And Moshiri's comments I found deeply disturbing, to be honest. I found it quite concerning that he said, I think the thing about the fans choosing the manager, I think, was lost in translation, really. I think his English maybe isn't quite up to standard. What I think he was trying to say was the changes were enforced by fans getting annoyed. But even if we give him the benefit of the doubt on that, I wasn't so impressed with some of the other things he was coming out with.
No, but just to clarify, because lost in translation thing, nonsense. Farhad Moshiri moved to England when he was about 10. And basically grew up and went to school here and lived all his life here until very much later in life, in his 40s or maybe even 50s, when he moved to Monaco. So he literally grew up and lived here, and he worked in the City of London. So lost in translation, my arse. He knows exactly what he's saying. His English is perfectly fine. So don't defend him on lost in translation, because he knows exactly what he's doing and saying. He's just an idiot.
I felt it was more of a case of him saying the fans were driving the changes in managerial appointments. But even if we give him the benefit of the doubt on that, as I say, you're probably right, Jeff. But even if we disregard that, the rest of his interview was a PR disaster. And you're right, Dan. He did come out. He does need to do an interview, maybe through the official club channels, with someone who actually understands about PR, and say, look, we haven't got the fucking money. At least be honest with the fans, because we're all in a bit of a rut with the football club now. Our patience had run out 5 years ago, and we've continued to persist with it. But it's getting beyond a joke now. Now, I've always said the channel should remain impartial about things, and everyone can have their own views, personal views, but we shouldn't really swing one way or another, because, for example, I know Ian Yandelf is, he's close with Bill Kenwright, so it wouldn't be fair for us as a complete channel to start saying, oh, Kenwright out, as a channel But individually, you can have your own opinions. Now, my opinion is, it's the same in any business. If you employ a chef in a restaurant and everyone's complaining that the food is bad, then
You sack the chef.
You sack the chef. You get a new one. Now, it's not personal to Kenwright. It's the same with them all. The results on the pitch and off the pitch are terrible. Commercially, we're well behind everyone else. You look around now, and I know we're talking about transfers a bit later on in more detail, but clubs with far less pedigree than us are picking up players, not spending an awful lot of money. And as bad as we are right now, we don't need to have big names to improve us. We're that bad that I look at players that other teams are getting that we wouldn't normally be in for, and I think, well, they'd improve us. But we can't deals over the line, that we haven't got a pot to piss in. He's the accountant who doesn't know how to do his books. Because the accountant knows how to save money and do things in the right way. Well, and the reason we can't spend is because we're at risk of violating financial fair play. Well, you've got Chelsea who can spend 400 million in 12 months. So the whole system stinks. And I really, really don't know what's going on with the club right now. But at the end of the day, I don't see any change in the pipeline.
No, first order of business is if you're gonna sit there and say we've improved our communication, well, you could go to a match for a start. You could actually go and attend a football match for the club that you own. He hasn't attended a match. He hasn't attended a match in about 18 months. But and this is a key thing. It's like we want to improve our communication, right? And we created a fan advisory board. Now, here's an interesting fact about the fan advisory board. None of them have ever met Farhad Moshiri.
I think Jazz Bal has. I mean, I was in Pete's
once in passing, but I mean, as a fan, like he's met him once in passing, but as a fan advisory board, have they actually sat down with the board and had a full meeting? No, somebody has been put there to represent the club, but not actually the owner.
The last conversation that I had with the chairman of the fan advisory board was in person, I think. Jazz. I had a meal.
Jazz spoke to him in person?
No, hang on. I had a meal with Jazz in Pizza Express and Speak quite recently. I spoke about this and said, he said it can't be more than maybe 5 weeks, but he said that it was barely set up at that point. Nothing was really in place in terms of, taking action. And the fan advisory board is a much higher level than the fan engagement. Sorry, I'm getting the two bloody things mixed up. The fans forum is low level stuff. The fan advisory board is meant to be helping make decisions that shape the club at the top end. And as far as I'm aware, that hadn't really got into motion at that stage. I wouldn't be surprised if there was still no progress with that, because I think we would have heard more. But the whole purpose of that was to push the club. Now, I know Jazz, and I know his personal thoughts, and I know what he would say in public. And you can read between the lines as much as you want with that to our audience. And I'm going to protect everything that he's told me in confidence, because it's not the right thing to do. However, they all want a better Everton Football Club at the end of the day. Sometimes it's easier to work with someone rather than work against them, especially when the people perhaps don't realise that they are the problem. Now, Farhad Moshiri, in my opinion, is that it needs to, if he wants to remain owner of this club, he's got to delegate the roles to the best people. Now, I think he tried to do that. Well, maybe he thinks he tried to do that, Dan. He brought in
Kevin.
I got the job on the basis his dad was a Blue. And everything is a bit too much. Whoever's in your inner circle will get the job. We never seem to look further than the end of our nose.
I think they're in denial. I think they're absolutely in denial. I think Moshiri is putting the blame on the fans because he doesn't want to accept his own mistakes. To palm it off on the fans is stupid for me. And like you say, you could say that I just think that he said that, but generally I think Moshiri is the big problem. Kenwright, the board are a big problem. None of them are good enough. And there's a big reason, Ryan. Like, I don't back anyone up, even that Fab, Jazz and all that. They ain't getting nowhere near the board. They're just there for a barrier for the board for me. They're just there for a barrier for the board, because the way that letter said, all of you lot that have got a big problem, when loads of Everton fans are angry, go to the Fab. they just kind of set the fab up for me. They just kind of set the fab up and put loads of stuff on them. And they don't care about anyone. And Moshiri don't care about anyone, only other than himself. And he won't listen to people. And you know when you said you just got to go along with things for the good sometimes? No, you haven't. If you care about Everton Football Club, those on the board shouldn't have let Moshiri get us in this much mess. Now, Ryan, we can't... This window, Lampard's just come out in that interview now and said, we can't spend much. Like, we're looking at loans. We can't spend nothing. We're not in this situation by luck. We're in this situation because we've been run shit by Moshiri and by the board. Now, I'm not with what you said on the we can't change things. Like, I think we've got to believe that we can change things. And I think that strike thing, and I've been behind it and speak to them, I think it's amazing because enough's enough. Enough is enough. Bournemouth are out frigging competing with us on signings, and they're going to Bournemouth. Like, I'm no disrespect to Bournemouth because they're doing really well, but I'm just saying Everton normally can sign players. Our reputation at the minute is going down. It's disgusting what they've done to us. Go on.
You're right. The reputation is good. The recruitment has got to be deals where we have obligations to buy if we stay up and the players reach target, for example. There are things smart people do in the transfer market to get deals done. Obligations to buy, loans with options and obligations to buy, deferred payments and things. You know, if we're in a mess, it can't be forever. We haven't invested in the playing squad in 3 years. We invested, but we sold Lukaku and Ross Barkley and John Stones for a fortune. How much genuine actually money has come out of his pocket? I'm not so sure. It comes down to the fact that the club's being run in a mess.
Bad. Yeah, 100%.
And I really do not want to say things, but I personally think that Bill Kenwright should resign now. I also think that Denise Baxendale should resign. I also think
100%.
that probably isn't doing enough because I didn't like his recruitment in the summer. I didn't like the recruitment in January. I don't know who signed Michaelenko and all of these players. I think they're very, very average footballers. And I could see that literally straight away after watching one game of Michaelenko. You can see he's not an attacking fullback, a modern mobile fullback. We're just constantly making the same mistake. It doesn't matter who is in, who runs the club, which manager we've got, which owners which people on the board. It's the same stink and it's coming from somewhere. So I think at some point, he's got to just say, look, the fans are literally going to riot after that Southampton.
Here's a thing that's interesting.
In the faces
of the... Yeah, what I was going to say is, when the Man City owner took over, when he bought out, was it Thaksin Shinawatra? He bought out Man City. Right, what was the first thing he did? He sacked everybody. He literally sacked everybody. Coaching teams, like directors, everyone. He was just like, gone. Right. I'm going to bring in my own professionally qualified people. I'm going to bring in the best people in every position, and we're going to create a plan. And they created a plan. And it was like, right, well, we want this manager, but we can't get him now. So we'll get this manager for now. He brought in Takiri Bergistan from Barcelona to be the sporting director. They changed the academy. They brought in whole new recruitment staff for the academy. They changed everything. They changed the fundamental running of the club from ground up. And then they came up with a plan. We're going to extend the stadium. We're going to do this and we're going to do this. And they built up and they built up and they built up. And then they were like, we're going to invest in the community. We're going to do this. And it was a plan. And you look at Newcastle. Newcastle got bought out. Is it nearly 2 years now? Something like that, 18 months or so.
Not as long as that.
What did he do? He got rid of everybody. He got rid of all of the people behind the scenes, all the hangers-on, all the toadies, all the old school. Oh, he's been here since he's since he was a kid and he's played at every level and all that nostalgic crap. They were just like, no, this is going to be a professionally run sports franchise. So we're going to bring in a new sporting director. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to have a plan. We're not going to go out and just spend loads of money on some player because we like the name of them or because we saw him on telly once. We're going to have a plan for how we recruit. We're going to recruit in specific positions, specific players to do specific jobs. And we're going to improve one bit at a time, blah, blah, blah. That's a plan. You look at Brighton, it's exactly the same. They got rid of their manager. Did they were they like panicking, looking around and like 3 weeks later hiring a novice coach who'd been sacked by Chelsea? No, they had a plan. They had somebody lined up because they knew he was going to go, and they got it all sorted. And he's coming and he's hit the ground running because he's coming in to do a specific job, which is coach the team. There are other people who buy the players. There are other people who do like marketing. There are other people who do this. It's a professionally run organization. What did we do? We kept the same old people. It took like 6 years to get rid of Unsworth, who was failing our academy by being rubbish. All these people are still here. The people who were like failing for decades, like Kenwright has won nothing. I saw a stat the other day that said out of all the 92 clubs in football, we're the last team left that's won something, even that's promotion or a Zenit Data Cup or whatever. Like other teams, even in lower down, they've got promoted, they've won a playoff, they've done something. Even if they've got relegated, they've won something, they've had moments of glory. We've had literally 28 years where we have done absolutely nothing but tread water. And in fact,
my lifetime, and I'm 30 this year. And I can't recall anything of note watching Everton apart from the 2009 final, which we bottled because David Moyes put Tony Hibbert at right back or something. I can't remember. It is absolutely draining supporting this football club. And ultimately, it does come down to money, because I do think perhaps summer, if we'd had the money, we would have got the Kudus deal over the line. We probably would have signed Mudryk. We bid for him. Cody Capbo, there would have been others, and we would have probably identified these decent players, because I do think
it doesn't come down to money, though, does it? Because Brighton's entire team cost less than Alex Iwobi. Brighton's entire starting 11 in that game cost less than Alex Iwobi.
It comes down to everything. It comes basically to cut what you said short. It's just Kenwright got someone to buy the club who will let Kenwright run the club. In my opinion, this is. And Kenwright has left him. He was clever. He knew that Moshiri would want to sit back and let him do his thing. Kenwright's come in. Moshiri's like, I don't believe Simon on the channel. I don't think everything's been Kenwright. I think a lot has been him, but I think Kenwright and Moshiri have run the club together, and they cannot fucking run a club. So I think, look, we've been badly run. What needed to be done when the takeover happened wasn't done. So that hasn't helped us, because it could have helped a lot of things without money. But then also, and what you've just said, Ryan, yes, you do need money. The way the Premier League is now, you do need money, because we can't get, without us being organised with our academy back in the day and being run properly, we need money now, because we're in the deep end and we can't sign anyone because we've been run wrong. And I'll say again that it is going to be nasty, this game after the game. But the message, I'll just put it out there because people listening, the message is get behind the team like we did last season to keep them up, because they need it. Don't be negative on the team. But after the game, we need to push that board out, and we need to push the owner out, because you've just said, Ryan, and I know all the time, Ryan, you say, this is just shit. This is just shit. This is depressing. Well, we shouldn't leave it like that, should we? The sooner we if we change the owners now, they can start doing stuff the rest of this season, and then stuff can start to turn over. Because at the minute with Everton, we've got no light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you think, are we going to get better next season, even if we stay up, we've still got stupid owners that are going to send us the wrong direction. So it needs changing. It definitely needs changing. And I think that we should all stick together to push it. Well, I'm on it anyway. I'd say them out. Definitely. I think we need to change it. It's not.
But you say that, but I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but Farhad Moshiri's not going anywhere until this new stadium's built.
No,
it isn't.
So
but
I think we also need to make it clear that the investment in the football club hasn't been good enough. Isn't good enough. I mean, we can all sit and if we can sit and discuss this. We've done it thousands of times. It's very simple. He bought the club. He sacked Martinez because we finished 11th twice. We did underachieve under Martinez. That was phenomenal in his own words. It was a very strong squad. We had Stones, Barkley, Lukaku, Baines, Coleman, Gareth Barrett. We had a really good team, and we didn't do well. And the reality is, he sacked Martinez, brought in Koeman, spent a lot of money on players. Players wanted to leave because they could sense the stink about to follow, and we invested to try and finish in the top 6. Didn't do that. Everyone was given massive contracts. Bought badly. We've had a fire sale. Everyone's left on a free or a loan, or we paid them to go, and ultimately it's cost us a bomb, and that's playing staff and
because we never had a plan.
Yeah, we never had a plan. We should have employed the best people in the best roles at the start.
Let them do their job without interference. That's the thing. Marcel Brands is an excellent director of football, and his plan would have been to bring in young players, get them coached up, increase their value, and then move them on and make money, turn them over. That's the model that works. It's a rotation, and you build a club over time. But we've got an owner who wanted to sit at the top table with Arsenal, and I think fundamentally this is what it comes down to: is his nose was put out of joint by being forced out of Arsenal because he wanted control of Arsenal, right? Because he's a man of ego. And he wants to sit at the top table and lord it over people and look down and go, look what I've done for you, plebeian bastards. I've created something, and and take the adulation. And I think that he fundamentally misread Everton Football Club because he thought he could come in and just throw some money at the problem and everything would be gravy. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a system and a plan, and you have to do all kinds of things, and you have to take time. You're not just going to turn up and suddenly be top 4. It doesn't work that way, because you buy. I mean, how many over the hill players on massive wages did we buy when we should have been buying younger players and introducing them and building a side? And if we'd have done that when we got the money, if we'd have invested in younger players. And we'd have been turning over cash. We'd have been making a profit. We'd have built a team over a time. And when we got into the position where we could challenge, we would have been in a position to challenge, because we'd have had you don't build a house like from the roof down. You build it from the foundations up. You make it strong, and then you build the next bit, and then you build the next bit, so that when it gets up to the top height, it's not just going to collapse on you. And what we did is we threw some ornaments on the thing and sort of.
They didn't even try. They didn't even try and build a house. They didn't even try and frigging build a house. What they tried to do is just two people showing off, trying to buy big names in the window, having a little go like a FIFA frigging game. Oh, I'll buy him. Oh, I'll buy him.
Exactly.
Oh, I'll buy him. That's all it was. Is just egos buying players, and they just wanted to show off and put the names about like they could do this, that, and the other. They just didn't treat it properly for me, and they didn't take Everton seriously. But this is our club. And this club's been many Evertonians clubs. We are a big history club. I've been looking back at stuff and Everton fans back in the day. Big, big club. And we should not have these clowns running our club. They've got to go. They don't deserve it. Do they deserve the sack, Ryan? Do they deserve the sack, Ryan?
Yeah, we finished 7th in the first season, though. So we sacked Martinez, I'm sure, and we finished 7th, did we?
It was because he had a good team then. The more he inherited, the Moyes team.
No, he took over the team that Moyes had built, and I think it was after the first. He took over the club after the first year of Martinez, so it was coming into the second year of Martinez.
Yeah. Martinez. He brought in Ronald Koeman, and we finished 7th. But then that summer, we're 7th, probably an underachievement. Quality player in my opinion, with Lukaku scoring 5 goals or something, just needed to strike that to make it really tight. Got the idiot centre back. But it was that summer. That was the summer of the Koeman, the end of the Koeman, when he then had to get Lukaku and bring in Rooney and all of them. That's what really fucked up everything. Giving Wayne Rooney 200 grand a week and all these players, and then having to sack Koeman after we probably sacked Koeman too premature. What's probably happened there is they've all had a bit of a dip in the hand of the transfer market, and they've cooks.
That's the situation.
They've sacked Koeman. Someone had to be the 4 guy, and the whole thing stunk from there. He probably should have stuck with Koeman and said, "Look, we've bought badly here," and looked at more of the direction.
I think it was a combination that Koeman wasn't that good either as well. I think you had 3 clowns there.
Yeah,
I think you had Moshiri and Ken Wright that had a little bit of a dip, and then all of a sudden you get him in coming and add his thing to it, and it's just complete mess. And that's where it got really messy.
Really, really poor choice to take
bad
over
manager.
Really
bad manager.
Gilby Sigurdsson, not a bad sign. He was a good
45 million for Sigurdsson is the most ridiculous thing ever.
It was the market, if you remember.
It wasn't 45 million market at the time. No way was it. You could have gone and signed. At that time, the market was good. You could have signed loads of young, good kids.
A good player back 40 million. That was the transfer market pre-COVID.
But he wasn't a good player.
He wasn't that good, Sigurdsson.
40 million is the kind of money that you spend on somebody who is going to carry your club as the standard bearer. 40 million isn't like a squad player or a bit part.
Yeah.
That's your talismanic player. 40 million is top draw.
Yeah.
He wasn't ever top draw. He was never top draw.
Got 13 goals or something and assists. 13 goals the season before from midfield for Swansea. You can't find midfielders who have that level of goal scoring, creative and assist ability. We would kill for him right now. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, we'd kill for him right now. Well, yeah. But we still overpaid.
Hello.
By the way, just want to say, Ryan at the minute is on a cruise, so sometimes his voice is going a bit up and down, and sometimes it's freezing like it is now. But that's the reason, because he's on a red hot cruise at the minute. So, but he is on.
Yeah, we can sometimes hear you. I'm just mostly going off lip reading and knowing you. I know basically what you're saying. I can pick up the rest.
It's been gibbering at times.
Yeah, he has been. Oh, he's gone. He's fully gone. So
he'll try and come back in.
I was going to say, now he's not here. We can say stuff. Oh, no, he's back. Are you back again, mate?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
It's been cutting out loads when you've been talking, but we just kind of went with it because we know you're on a cruise. Well, if you want to say that. Because we know you're miles away, that's why. Because we know you're miles away.
This is an interesting comment, and I just want to pick up on this comment because I've heard this one a lot. We blame the Everton board. We weren't screaming sack the board back then, spending stupid money on players' contracts. All they heard was nothing from fans. Maybe not my money. And I understand that. Now, I would say that I was critical of the board back then. I was critical of the spending. I wasn't happy with a lot of the signings we made. And I thought we overpaid for players. We gave ridiculous contracts. And I kind of knew that we were in trouble, like, from at least 3 or 4 years ago, because there was never a plan. Like, when we get Marcel Brands in, I was like, brilliant. That's exactly the right appointment. He's a really qualified guy. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing, and he'll make the right decisions. And then we immediately started ignoring him and buying players based on like, I mean, Cenk Tosun, for Christ's sake. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Umar Niasse, oh my God, that was ridiculous. Some of the buys we've made have just been
Iwobi.
Yeah, Iwobi was another one. It's like, well, we want a certain player and we can't get him, so let's just buy this other guy who's like a bit similar but a Jag version of it. And it's like, so we got little Zaha, and it's just like,
Can I say something?
We are gonna come. Just to poll people in the comments, we didn't do something that we probably should have done separate about the loads of stuff that's gone on. So we've had loads of stuff to talk about before we talk about the pre-match talk, but we will talk about Iwobi in a minute.
Can I just say one thing?
You can say as many things as you want, mate.
I can't lead this preview because I don't know how good the signal is, but I just want to reinforce what I said about Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson was the best.
No, I don't want you to come in. But go Blurry. No, Sigurdsson.
You're not saying he was a bad signing.
No, he's shite. For what? There was a reason Tottenham got rid of him. That frigging because he wasn't that good. He
was the.
No way. You're just wishing we had him now because we're shit. But at that moment in time, 45 million.
Forget the money. He was the best out of all the dross we signed because he actually scored goals and made goals.
You just thinking like that because we haven't got that now and we need that. But at that moment in time, he was shit.
I'm comparing it. He was a goal-scoring midfielder. He made and assisted. What is the problem? We overpaid for him, but that's not down to us.
Because back then, the window was different. We didn't need players like him back then. We already had frigging loads of players like that.
No, we sold Ross Barkley and Sigurdsson was the best replacement. It was David Klaassen and Sandro and Rooney and all these other crabs and Schneider.
He was
These were all the ones that fucked us up. Because we were paying them 150k a week.
Yeah, this is the fundamental problem, is that we had the owner buying players based on like what his mate Kia Jarapshian said over on his boat in Monaco. Then we had a director of football who was looking at players he'd previously signed and trying to get them over. Like when you're saying he was the best player we bought. The best player we bought was just a guy. We paid $7 million for him. That was a cracking purchase because he filled a role. He did exactly what we needed him to do, and he was an excellent signing for the money that we paid for him. That was clever business. We bought players mostly on the down, and this is the thing: is they've passed their peak. They're at their maximum market value, and they're only going to go down. That's it. They're only going to go down.
I've just had a thought in my head, and this is so bad. Since Moshiri come in and spent his 500-600 million, other than Richarlison, one player, who did we sign that was good after spending all that money? Give me a player now that you really think was good.
I think we signed good players on paper.
No, give me a player that's come in then other than Richarlison. Give me a player now that we brought in that was really good. Because they've all fly past me, and that's really bad.
I think we have.
Who?
Listen, let me finish.
I know. Who's the player?
The signal's not good enough to have a rant. I'll have one when I get home.
Oh yeah, I like having one with you.
Wait till I get home. Fuck off, Cruz. I think we signed good players in the Marcel Brands and onwards. I think individually, some of them have been very good, just not for us. Just not for us. That is the bottom line. They've not gelled. Luca Dean, a very good left back. James Rodriguez had all the skill and talent in the world. Yerry Mina.
Was he a good left back though, or was he quite good going forward?
I think he was a good left back. I judge the left back on what they can. I judge him on what he can do. He's no worse than Michaelenko. Michaelenko is utter trash. He is shit. People waltz past him. People waltz past Michaelenko like he's not there. When Michaelenko came up against Adama Traore for Wolves, and in that last game against Brighton, and in the other game for Man United, he's crap. Did you see him against Man U? And the other fullback Patterson's no good either. I think Marcel Brands signed players on big money, good players at other clubs, but they didn't work out for us. Okay, they didn't work out for us. I think now we're back to signing the utter dregs. Look at what we brought in. Look at the team now. We've got Tarkowski, who was from relegated Burnley, Cody, who was surplus at Wolves for a reason, Patterson, some young kid from Rangers with no experience. Michaelenko escaping a war zone in Ukraine. We could have gone on a free transfer if we'd have held on 2 weeks. And I wouldn't pay anything for him. Garnegay, who's this season pathetic. Onana, we don't really know what he's got. He's got one attribute that we like, and that's a slide tackle, but there's nothing else in his game worth having. And then you've got Dwight McNeil, who's garbage. Mope, who's utter shite. We got rid of Rondon. We've got Calvert-Lewin, who's not the player he was at all. He's just not the same player. Yet we don't provide him with any service. And then you've got Anthony Gordon, who's a youth product. And Damari Gray we got for $1 million. We're a mess.
Are you having a bad day, man, mate?
That's because the difference is because
you need to get out and get on the.
You can't compare what we're signing now to back then, though, because then we used to be able to spend money. Now we're working on a freaking proper tight budget.
So what do you want, Dan? What the fuck are you expecting? Seriously,
well, I've told you what you've got to do. We've got to realise the situation and just get behind these players and not pull out how shit they are. Try and boost them up to be the best they can be. Because I don't.
Giving them.
Yeah, but we got
giving them these stupid walk downs the pitch with all the flares and stuff. They don't deserve anything. These are the worst set of players I've ever seen. This and last season, they're the worst bunch of knobheads that I've ever watched. I've got a signed shirt from them, and I didn't even bother putting it on the wall because I hate them. I'm sick of it.
They are, but our Everton that we all support, that means a lot to so many people and that goes down many generations, is in these players' hands. Fact is, it is, whether you like them or not, and we've got to get behind them.
We're probably getting relegated.
Well, it's easy, like you say, but we don't know what's going to happen. If you two didn't say we was going to draw with Man City, but we did. We don't know what's going to happen any game. Fact is, we need these players are not playing that well, Ryan. They ain't
even
playing that well.
Even the broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, well, you need to get the broken clock working every now and again, and then we might stay up. That's the thing. And sometimes it can. Lampard's not been that good. He's got to step it up himself. The players haven't been that good. They've got to step it up themselves. Now, it's easy to say the players are
into the pre-match now.
No,
I'm ashamed of these. You could say I'm ashamed of these players. After that Brighton game, I felt so humiliated and embarrassed, and I honestly couldn't have given a toss whether any of them had left, or the manager had gone, or any of the board had gone, because I was just ashamed and embarrassed that I support a football team that loses at home to Brighton by that kind of scoreline, after losing to Wolves, after losing to Bournemouth. It's, you know, the manager's lucky to be in a job. In my opinion, he's it's been more than sackable what he's done. More than sackable. He's been lucky. Statistically, the worst Everton manager in our history.
He's been lucky that the attention has come up on other things to take the attention off him. And then Moshiri has come out and said that he's kind of put.
They're all in with each other.
Going to keep him. They're all up each other's arses. That's the problem. But I was just going to say to you though, Ryan, the thing is, we don't want Everton to go down, so we've got to get behind them. Like generally, we don't. We've got to. I get what you're saying, and it's hard to get behind these players because they so often don't try. But we've got to get behind them because we need to stay up. We generally have to try and get these to stay up and push them to stay up.
Interesting.
Hello? Is that room service? Yeah. Fucking send me a bottle of beer. Yeah. 12 pounds, please. Yeah. No, fuck it. Because Everton are shy. Right. Nice one. Fuck.
Fair dues. You know, if actually beers turned up in a minute, I'd be laughing my head off.
One thing I will say though, like we're moving on to the game now. One thing I will say is, Ryan, and forget about how much you're pissed off from these players, sometimes not arse, which makes you have big grudges on them. It does me. But put your grudges aside because we just need Everton to stay up. Because fact is, these players could be gone in a couple of years. We'll still support Everton. The manager could be gone in a couple of years. We'll still support Everton. So could the owner. So could the board. We'll always be left supporting Everton. That's why us fans have got to get behind Everton staying up because this is our club. They don't give a shit as much as we do.
Yeah, but no one's saying that we shouldn't get behind them.
But you're saying like give up. The give up attitude is we're down. We're down.
No, I'm not saying
we've got to boost them back up. We've got to, as a channel, we've got to put up positive vibes.
We can cheer, and we can clap, and we can
like we did last season. It kept them up. It kept them up.
We can pop flares and all the rest
of it.
Have to do that. That's not going to make the team functional and play well. like cheering doesn't seem, because like if cheering and clapping and supporting our team made them play well, why have we got 3 wins? Why have we lost 4 of our last 5 home games? And not against big teams either, against like the teams who are bottom of the league or in and around the bottom of the league. So like getting behind our team doesn't actually seem to do anything. And I hate to say that, but it's like
it does though. I think it does.
Does it?
Yeah,
Well,
because
like,
I'll show like a video for an
though?
example. Listen to this, an example. Do you know that last Man City game? I recorded the game, the Man City game, because I didn't go to the Manchester United game, because I didn't go to it. And then all of a sudden, the fans were shouting. You couldn't hear the commentator, and they were singing "Goodison Gang." And then Everton, the players built up confidence and started passing the ball, and we scored the goal to come back 2-2, and it got disallowed. But the fans singing gave the players confidence, and we made a good move, and the goal should have counted, and we should have drew against Man United. Right. So that it does put confidence into the players. The songs do give the players confidence. If you don't realise that after last season,
at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers, we got absolutely bent over and dry bummed by Brighton.
Do you think the atmosphere was good those games? Do you think the atmosphere was good
twice in a week by Bournemouth? Twice in a week by Bournemouth, and it wasn't like unlucky. Like, see, this is the problem: is it's not even unlucky defeats. It's like absolutely battered twice by Bournemouth. So, like that doesn't speak to like anything other than a lack of quality. They're just better than us. They were just better than us. They played better than us.
I think we
dominated possession. Yeah,
I think we were poor
because
exactly.
We
so,
poor.
Well,
we were just poor.
They were better.
Crap. We've been crap all season. We've been knocked out of both cups in the third round. In the third round, the first game we played, it's a shit show. And the team this season has won 3 games. Lampard has only won 9 games in about 40 or 50 or something. It's awful. And half of them were, it's some divine right that we have to get behind the team. Okay, we're going to support the team. We support the club. We look past the deficiencies of everything going on to try and help.
Oh, you've gone blurry again. You was just getting interested. You've gone blurry. Bugger.
No, you've got mate.
Yeah, it's gone back out.
Hello.
I was just going to drop one quickly on this comment. You're back, yeah. Go on, come back.
Maybe I should just stay on camera off because I think my upload speed is shite.
Yeah, we don't need to see your ugly face.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Right, talk about the fucking match.
Now, I think we should go 4-5-1 or maybe 4-4-1-1. That's in my opinion. I've had conversations about the game and stuff. I don't know whether we will go with the wing backs.
I think that the manager has to accept some reality, because if he doesn't accept reality, then we're screwed, because we've consistently keep trying to play football against teams that are just better than us. And you have to accept that a fact. Right, when David Moyes came into Everton, when he first came into Everton, we were in relegation trouble. And what he did was he made us really tough to beat. That was his first job. He just made us tough to beat. And we weren't great on the eye. We weren't great to watch. We weren't playing through the lines or any of this, whatever you want to call it, right? We were literally a Route 1 football team. We defended fought for everything. We tried to nick a goal here and there, and we got enough points, and we stayed up fine. And then that gave him the platform to improve a little bit at a time. Let's add a little bit here, and he's carefully scouted players that would add something to the team, and that would be first teamers, not squad players. He was looking every time that he bought somebody, it was to replace somebody who wasn't good enough. So he wasn't like bringing in players to sort of fit in a squad. He was bringing in someone to replace someone else who wasn't good enough, who'd then go on the bench, and he was building us up piece at a time. Frank seems to think he's got Chelsea's squad, and he tries to play through the lines, and he tries to play a certain style of football. And it's only when we go pragmatic and we play like 5 at the back, pack midfield, and go long ball, maybe like try and use pace to nick something. That's the only time we've actually got any kind of decent results in the last like however many months. Apart from the Crystal Palace game, we haven't played a good 90 minutes of football all season. All season. Doesn't matter what system we play. But if we play pragmatic, defensive, block everything, and just try and nick something, we can pick up points. And that's all we've got to do is just pick up points and just try and get better and hope we can get somebody in on loan who can help. But like if we go out again and try and play football, like they just beat Man City. They literally Southampton just beat Man City and they played really well and they had attacking threat and they looked like good on the football. Like if we lose against Southampton,
we're fucked.
Yeah, like so like if we go out and try and play them off the park, we're gonna get bombed again. And like we can't afford that. We can't.
But they're not as good as Brighton.
No, they're not. But they're good enough to beat Man City.
I wouldn't be too worried about that Man City result because they've been poor like us as well. We've been good sometimes and then been shocking. We drew against Man City and got battered the next game by Brighton. I don't think that's gonna
beat them.
Yeah, I think Southampton we can give
them
a
what
game.
I'm saying is we got the draw against Man City by playing a certain way.
Yeah, well, but I'm not
accepting the reality that we're not a good football side.
Lampard's got to start learning.
Yeah,
he's got to start clicking on.
He's going to play 4-4-2 and he's going to try and play through the lines and he's come up with some kind of way of playing.
We haven't got the players to play through the lines.
I know.
We haven't got any creative passing players.
Correct.
We should be just trying to get it long ball and have our fast players harrying around him and trying to get him behind and use our pace. That's about all we've got. And get Calvert-Lewin in the box, in the 6-yard box to score. We've covered like 2-3 topics in one thing here, so we've had to cram it all in. But I just want to say, we didn't go to, and I'll put it out that Calvert-Lewin is fit, he's in training. He's likely going to get played. We haven't covered this. We haven't covered what Lampard said, so we'll just quickly cover it. And the second thing, the miracle, I don't know how it's happened. Iwobi might be playing. I don't know how. As someone put it in the comments, Iwobi.
Iwobi might be
available. Too bad, so I'm going to switch and watch you guys do the rest of the preview from the pool.
Oh, well, when you get back, make sure you stay on.
Oh, it's a hard life, Ryan. Honestly,
I'm going to listen.
I know you're going to be frustrated, Ryan, because you really wanted to come on, but your signals let you down. I wanted to hear what you had to say as well, but it's let you down. Gutting.
Right,
don't come back, mate. That's my advice.
Right.
Don't come back.
You should never leave. You should never leave me and Jeff together by ourselves.
You're a good singer. Right, and you can play the thing, I'm pretty sure you could get a job and just stay on board the boat for like.
Hey, have a look at this. Have a look at this. Look at this.
Go on.
Here we are, but you're not showing us.
Give me one sec.
Go on.
Hold on.
Everton fans, wait for what he's going to show us, but we will continue, me and Jeff, just the match talk after, because Ryan's struggling with the signal. Sorry if it's been hard keeping up with Ryan's signal, but
do you want to know what I've been doing while I'm here?
Go on then.
I swam with dolphins.
Oh, excellent.
Swam with turtles.
Cool.
What else have I done? I've seen jazz bands. I sang with the jazz band.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Dan's like, what the fuck?
I know, because I'm jealous. I want to swim with dolphins and not freaking stress about Everton. Piss off.
South
bloody
Beach
hell.
in Miami. Getting jackets for work. That was fun. Gone on the beach. Gone to the Caribbean islands. Watched juggling shows, comedians, bands. stuff my face silly constantly. I probably put on a stone.
Still come back to Everton though.
So basically, you've been enjoying life.
Like you needed it though.
On the plane, on the way here, we played Brighton, and I caught it on the plane, and I never felt so depressed. The first 2 days of the holiday were ruined because I just thought, this is the season we're going down. This is it. And I've tried to disconnect so much, but I check the news every day. There's nothing positive, is there, happening? I didn't even watch the Lampard press conference because I'm finding him utterly draining now. I'm finding Frank Lampard irritating, if I'm being honest with you.
To be fair, I watched the press conference today and it wasn't bad. He actually sounded sort of moderately positive. Hi, Dylan. I mean, he's realistic and whatever. But again, I listened to what he said, and to me, like when you're saying we both agreed on this, we should be playing like a 5 at the back and playing it long ball and stuff like that. But he's not going to do that. He's going to play. He's going to play 4-3-3.
Yeah, he's going for it. He said, "We're at home, so you've always got to go for it at home." And I was like, "Oh my God, Frank Lampard, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me, Frank? Oh my God." He did me. When I was listening to Frank Lampard,
Gray is a lot better in the middle.
There were some things that I liked, and then some things that you just think, "Oh no." Oh, I don't know what to think of Lampard.
Listening to Frank Lampard press conference is now starting to sound like listening to Farhad Moshiri TalkSport interviews. It's like there's a certain level of delusion and like detachment from reality. Like everything's fine. We're just going to carry on, and like the results will eventually and it's just like at some point you've got to go, no, this is not working. Like, when are you going to realize, like, how many games are you going to lose before you realize that we can't play the way you want us to play because we don't have the players who are good enough? Simple as that.
Here's one for you. What would you say? Because I thought the same, but we don't know everything about football. Obviously, we don't get paid hundreds of freaking thousands like they do. What would you say if we went attacking and we did win? And it was that, and it was that made us win. Would you? Like, we just don't know, do we? Like, I think the same as you, but then now I've just got to the point.
Let's say it happened twice.
Yeah, I know, but now I've just got to the point where I do think to myself, like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be, but just get behind it. That's the way I am.
If we're going down and we go down swinging, like if we were to like sort of play an adventurous style of football and just go for it and like get in like 10, 15, 20 shots every game and we still went down, I wouldn't mind that. Do you know what I mean? Because it'd be like, well, we tried, we just weren't good enough. But what's really annoying me is that we don't even go for it. Even when we play a supposedly attacking formation, we don't actually create anything. We don't.
That Man United game gave me a little bit of hope. That Man United game, because I thought we were shit at defending, but we showed that we could go for it a little bit. I think one thing I will say is I do think Calvert-Lewin obviously is going to take a bit of time. Hopefully he can show the Calvert-Lewin the good one. Damari, yeah, but if he is fit, you could see what the goal he scored when he kept us up. Even if he just holds the ball up and heads it in the net, that's all we need from him.
We've got no one who can cross the football.
Damari Gray, whether you like it or not, he's had 3 good games. I think he was the only player that tried Brighton. I think he was good against Man City, fantastic. And I think he was good against Man United as well. He was getting on the ball all the time. So Damari Gray looks a bit better. Hopefully he can get into some form with Calvert-Lewin.
If he plays in the middle and if he played like a 4-3-3,
I'd like him to play close to Calvert-Lewin with the flick-ons.
He gets lost and disappears.
This is what Lampard needs to figure out.
I liked him out wide when he was running in behind and just focusing on a 1v1 against the defender and putting the ball in. Instead of all this fannying around, trying to come inside and beat everyone and then dribble past him and then beat him again. That's why he probably is better just playing in the middle.
Yeah, I think he's good in the middle.
Give us your teams and the injury news then. So injury news from Frank Lampard's press conference What teams would you go for? Because it is difficult because you've got Gordon fit now. I think my signal's fucking gone again. I can't do this.
No, it's all right.
We
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Gordon's
We can hear you.
fit.
Go on.
Give us the team news. Give us your teams and why, your tactics. How are Southampton getting on? What are their results and predictions?
They've won their last 2.
And transfers. I'm going to listen from the
Yeah.
other side. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they've won their last 2 games and they just signed like 2 new players, including a striker.
And if we lose, I'm going to fucking jump in this. Kill myself.
You're probably going to jump in a swimming pool, mate.
Nice.
Home, to be honest with you.
Where's the Dolphins?
Yeah, where's the Dolphins, man?
Yeah, they were in one of the Caribbean islands.
Nice.
You can't beat that though. Look at the sun. In the
Yeah.
distance.
Nice.
Oh, it's going to be so depressing going home to watch our fucking shit football team. Right, I'm going to listen.
When'd you get home?
Hang on.
When'd you get home, bud?
Flying back on Monday.
On Monday. So
Yeah.
you're back. Well,
Staying
back-
with Stevie for 2 nights and then coming back to Liverpool.
back to reality. Back to Everton. Beautiful.
Back to life.
Back to reality. Oh my god.
Let me listen to the rest of this preview. Go on.
Yeah, well, go on then. Right. See you
Okay.
later.
I am listening
So-
to. Don't be shit and boring.
Okay, we'll try our best. We'll try not to have any arguments as well. Right, go on then, bro. Go on then, buddy. Let's
Right.
give it-
So right, we're gonna
It's
get
team
people.
news.
We're gonna boost this up. We're gonna get the DJ in and stuff like that. Right. Right. What we're gonna do is people in the comments. What would your team be? Me and Jeff are going to give it now. We're going to go to it now. Obviously, there's been a lot to talk about, and we probably haven't got to what you want to talk about. And this is what we need to talk about. It's tomorrow. What would your team be against Southampton?
Yeah,
Now-
we did.
I've said I think we'll go 4-5-1. Jeff, you said you think. You said
I
that you
would like us to go 4-5-1, but I don't think we will.
Someone made a
So-
cracking suggestion. I just want to put this out there. It was
Go
something
on.
that was said to me on one of the spaces. What do you think of this? McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin. People in the comments, drop what you think. McNeil behind Calvert-Lewin, because obviously he lacks a bit of speed on the wings to beat the player. And someone mentioned with McNeil, with his good passing, his good shooting behind Calvert-Lewin
Do you know
in
where
that gap.
I would play McNeil? I'd play
On
him
the
as
bench.
left wing back.
He doesn't get back though, Jeff. That's my problem. He's lazy. I've seen him loads. He runs back like he's freaking carrying 20 stone. I don't know why he does it. He's lazy. Yeah. That was a lot of people have said the same thing. Issues, you're not on your own on that, but I just don't think he gets back enough. And we've seen how people are out for Mikalenko at the minute. So
I know.
you could imagine-
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe. I mean, it's one of those where the only other option is
Ryan says
Mark
5,
Gordon.
3-1
Well,
again.
3.
There's Ryan's view.
So right, okay. The team that I think will actually play on
Someone says 4-3-3. There's yours, Jeff, that you don't want.
yeah, that's what I think, Bob. So I'm thinking Mikalenko, although maybe Godfrey on the left instead of Mikalenko. I don't know, but so predicted lineups: probably Mikalenko, Tarkovsky and Cody, and Coleman at fullback. Midfield depends on whether it will be passed as a fitness test. But obviously, you've got Garner and Onana. Who would play alongside them? Probably Davies. If we're playing 4-3-3, I know. And then you've got like Gray, Gordon, and DCL up top. That's probably something around similar to what he's going to go for.
Well, it's not a bad team, but a lot of people would have been thinking this is. I think I know why your team's probably changed, Jeff, is because Lampard kind of made it sound like he's going to change his at the press conference. Now, a lot of us, before we listened to Lampard in the press conference, probably would have been thinking it would have been this team that Blue Skies has just put up now. Pickford, Mikolenko, Tarkowski. Yeah, the team against Man City, basically, with Iwobi either in or out, and Decore probably or Davis coming in for Iwobi if he's not fit. That's the team that a lot of us thought. But the big problem is Lampard goes and says, someone kind of said, "Are you playing this formation on the screen?" And he says, "We're at home. We're going to attack, basically." So that's what made us confused, on what's going to happen. And then after Lampard says that we're going to attack, we all straight away know that Lampard's attacking formation is probably going to be the 4-3-3.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where we're at. Yeah, that's where we're all at the minute. We all are thinking now, oh my God, it's going to be a 4-3-3 because he's going to attack. So I'm dropping your comments on now, putting a few up on the screen. I don't think any of us know what it's going to be. I really don't. My Jeff, you said yours. Mine would be, like I said, 4-5-1. And the reason being a 4-5-1 is because against Man United, I thought it was good attacking with it, but I thought Coleman got caught out a few times and Mikolenko did, because when we played with the wing backs in this free with the wing backs, when we play that formation, they wasn't getting back quick enough, and we often get left with 3 at the back. And I just thought it didn't work. It worked against Man City, but when we actually try and play attacking with those 3 centre backs, we can get caught out. And that's the big problem, Jeff, is I feel like the 3 centre backs with the wing backs is a good formation against the harder teams when you've got to sit back. But I feel like when you play that formation and you try and go and beat Southampton, you can be very, very open and vulnerable, and that's what scares me with that formation.
It baffles me. It genuinely baffles me that he can watch us in training, and he can watch us on the pitch, and he can watch us in matches, and he still can't see that we can't play through the middle, that we just can't. We're just not good enough. We get the ball, we get possession, and it's happened so many times that it's become comical. Is we start well in games, and this is an interesting thing. Is if you look back over quite a lot of these games, we start quite well. We get hold of possession, we start passing it about, and we threaten them in no way, shape, or form, because we can't actually pass through that last line because we do not have any kind of quality in the number 10 position or whatever. So a team will sit there and they will sit back and they will soak up whatever pressure that we can manage to throw their way, which is usually very little. And then they get hold of the ball, and then they start passing it about, and then reality comes into place, and then you realise, this team can actually play football and we can't. They're actually capable of passing through the lines, and they've got forwards who are dynamic and move on the ball, and they'll actually just outplay us in midfield. And I've seen it, teams, even relegated teams like Norwich last year, they outplayed us in midfield. They outplayed us in midfield. So we brought in some players, but they're not footballers. They're not creative, quality players that are going to pass through the lines, and they're not going to sort of create incisive, intricate passing moves. They're just not going to do it. Right? They're going to pass the ball, then pass it backwards and sideways and pass it. And then they're going to try a hopeful ball, over the top somewhere, that is either going to go out a touch or out for a throw-in or something like that. And then the other team's going to get the ball. And it's just so pedestrian and slow and predictable. And this is the thing, is Everton's style under Lampard is predictable. It's so predictable that every team sees us coming, and they just know that all they've got to do is quiet us after 10 minutes, and we're done.
Someone said to me the other day, though, it's not just Lampard that he's got all those people on his team, Ashley Cole, Clements, all the people on his team. Now, you'd think to yourself, with those 4 or 5 people, that he's got enough brain cells there, because, Jeff, we speak like what we want, and we're not even frigging high up in football. We just watch the game and like football. These get paid in it. These 4 or 5 people should be able to put their heads together and come up with what works. I mean, we watch the game. I go through it after, but we watch the game once. They analyze it 24/7. So, do you think that things can change? Because that's what I'm hoping for with Frank. Because I said to myself, I did say I want him out, but I think to myself, if he's going to stay, I'll still get behind him. Of course I will, because my Everton's important to me. So, do you think Frank, he might start changing things and learning? Because, like, you might see something different to what you said, like, happen, because that's what I'm hoping for. And I think that's what you hope for. We all hope for. We want to see it.
I feel sometimes watching Everton that it's like, what's the old saying of the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's the way I sometimes feel when I look at the way Lampard manages, is that we do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And then when it doesn't happen, then we suddenly go, oh, well, let's throw a substitute on. So we'll throw like a 20-year-old kid on.
I'm just going to put a couple. I'm going to put a couple of questions.
Minutes to go, and it's like,
I'm going to put a couple of questions to you while you're speaking. Just like you go to me, I go to you. What do you know where you said he just keeps doing the same thing? Do you think he's that stupid? Do you think he not realizes that he's doing the same thing and it's wrong? Like, do you think he's that stupid? Why do what do you think the reason is that he is doing the same thing?
I watched Martinez manage, and he reminds me of Martinez in that, like, it feels like he's got a philosophy of how he wants us to play, and he's just going to keep doing the same thing. And, like, I think in some like dark recesses of his mind, he's just thinking that if they keep doing it again and again, like, practice makes perfect, like, eventually the penny's gonna drop with this gang of players that, like, will get a result.
I get what you're saying. Here's another thing for you. Do you think
a result, and then it'll click, and then we'll get on a little run of maybe win one and draw one away, and then maybe not get absolutely battered by Arsenal and Liverpool, but probably will. But I think he's just hoping that if he keeps doing it and drumming it, this same thing into the players, that eventually they'll figure it out.
Here's another one for you. Do you think, I'm just putting questions to you, and I'll pull stuff out your head, and people in the comments might relate to it. Do you think that he really wants it? Like, we know that Lampard really wants this job, because the Everton job is a big job, and he says he wants it. Do you think that he's going to click out of it? Do you think Lampard can all of a sudden, like, think, right, I've tried this, but I know I'm so close to losing my job. I'm just going to try what I need to do to keep my job? Because that's what eventually, Jeff, should click in your head. As a manager, you should think to yourself, right, I know I keep wanting this, but now it's got to the point where we're in a relegation battle. I'm just going to do what it takes to stay up and go back to what I want at the end. Do you think that could happen?
What really worried me about that press conference and various things I heard from Frank Lampard is that he thinks he's got time. And, like, maybe we won't win this game, but, like, the season's only half done and there's time to recover and all this kind of thing. I still think that he thinks that if we just keep doing this and keep practicing it, eventually it'll click and we'll be all right. He hasn't accepted the reality of the truth of the fact that these players are just poor. Most of them are championship level players at best. Some of them are not even fit for the championship, to be honest, because their passing is just too poor to be in the championship.
Some have. I always have to boost it back up because you know what I'm like. I try. Some have been better, and I know you just said Gray has been better. I know you'll admit it if they have been better as well. I think
Gray is a limited player, but he's got a use, and he's one of those players that if you can get him the ball in a certain play, like if you play a certain type of football,
he's
Gray is the
dangerous.
kind of footballer who can get you results. And this is
dangerous.
the big question, and this is the big question. This is a results business. It's kill or be killed, and every other team wants to kill us because if we're in the bottom three, that means one of them isn't. They want our place, like Nottingham Forest, Southampton, Bournemouth. They want to finish above us because they know that if they finish above us, they'll probably survive.
It's a battle.
So
this league's the most competitive it's ever been.
Yeah, and this is the thing is I think Frank Lampard is playing chess at a chess club with a glass of cognac in his hand. Like if he just plays this pretty pattern of game that, he's playing a game in his mind. This is how we should do this, and we'll just keep doing this, and eventually we'll figure it out, and it'll work okay.
I think it's got to click for him, though. It can't be that stupid.
The game is ruthless.
It can't be that stupid, surely.
Two wins in 17 or 18 games. I can't think of another manager ever who didn't get sacked after 2 wins in 17 games. I can't think of anyone.
No, it's one of that. What do you think? I was going to put this up earlier on. Paul, who's on Twitter, we all know him. He put this formation. I found it interesting, and I'll try and keep your comments on because try and get you involved. I'll put them on if I can. We will have about an extra 10, 15 minutes, then we'll shut it down. If you want to drop anything in the comments, drop it in. Interested to hear what you've got to say. Put it in the comments. Tell us how you're feeling. Let your Everton emotion off in the comments. But this one here, Paul went for Godfrey, left back, Tarkowski, Cody, Coleman. Well, now I have heard shouts on Godfrey left back.
Sorry,
Godfrey left back. I have heard these shouts. Godfrey.
Oh yeah. That's
fine. He can play the left back. So because people have got doubts in Mikalenko, so he's put Godfrey left back, and that's the reason. Fair enough, just to kind of make it stronger that position. Then he's gone for Gordon on the wing, like a 4-4-2. Gordon on the wing, Garner, Onana, and McNeil on the other wing. And I find this interesting. In the two up top, he's put Damari Gray and Calvert-Lewin. Now, Calvert-Lewin, if he can get the flicks on for Damari Gray behind that back line, or can get it down for Damari Gray, I do think it'd be an interesting combination because I think Damari Gray's dangerous up top. I watched Rashford against us, and he was very good. And I watched Damari Gray for us, and he looked very dangerous as well. So maybe it could work.
The problem I see with that is that if we play 2 in midfield,
it could get run through. But maybe we have always said, Jeff, that sometimes when we've played 3, they've been lazy. So maybe if you play 2, it might just mean Nana's got to run his bollocks off.
I mean,
and
at this point,
Garner Gay has as well.
I suppose at this point, realistically, right?
They might struggle with 2 strikers, wouldn't they? Like Gray and Calvert-Lewin.
I don't want to say it, but in my mind, I'm already thinking this team's getting relegated because it isn't good enough. And if we continue playing the way we have, if we follow what we've just done in the last sort of 17 or 18 games for the remainder of the season, we're getting relegated. That's a fact. Based on form, based on how we play, we are one of the worst 3 teams in the league. Definitely. So we're not going to stay up if we carry on doing this like we have done. So we have to try something. So if we go 4-4-2 with proper play wingers, let the fullbacks stay back and just play a flat back 4. Let them 2 win the ball in midfield and just get the ball out either side and whip in crosses. And
there's a chance. There is a chance.
Maybe try that. Fine. Try something new. Try something different. Because
I'll put something
tomorrow.
It's going to be hard.
I just don't see how we survive.
I'll put
because
something
that's-
positive in though, Jeff. One thing I will say is it's easy to say with the Ryan stats we've done. Like you pulled the stats out, and I don't think the stats like tell the whole story because you've been on the channel, everyone with me. Up until the last couple of like games, we've just started getting spankings. But most of the start of the season, Jeff, we've been in every game. We have every game. I mean, we was all bragging we were 6 undefeated at one point. We was in every game, and so a lot of games could have gone our way. So, like I say, the statistics sound absolutely awful. But I think back to the actual games, and I think if we had a striker in that game, we might have won that. Or if we did the different formation game, we might have won that.
And that's the kicker. Really, is that like you've got to look at this and go realistically. The biggest reason why we're in the mess we're in.
No attacking players, like Lampard
we're not
said.
A threat. We're not a threat. That's just a fact.
Kevin Campbell said it on the channel, and this is the reason he backs Lampard, by the way. I don't know how I feel with Lampard. I'm behind him if he stays. If we change, it could say, I don't know. But one thing I'm sure is I'll be behind whatever team or manager we've got. I'm not behind the board or the frigging owner. But I do think we can play better. I really, really do think we can play better. And I think we've just got to... It's going to be a hard season.
So I think that we played with a certain fight and a certain level of effort and we had organisation, and we picked up a few points here and there by nicked points against the runs of play in most of the like I said, the only game that I've seen us this season where we with a better side, definitively the better side, was the Crystal Palace game. Other than that, we've been second best to every single team we've played, even if it's like in the cup or whatever. We've been second best in terms of a football team.
But we can grind games out. We can grind,
and that's basically what we are. Like if you put a proper striker, like
Kevin Campbell said it, Jeff. Did you hear the Kevin Campbell interview? He said the problem is, it was not long ago, the other day, I think he did it. He said the problem is Everton haven't got the attacking players. They sold Richarlison and they haven't brought good enough attacking players in. And he said it's your attacking players that win your games. And if you want to stay up, it's your attacking players. And we are short on that.
Yeah.
But Calvert-Lewin coming back can help.
Teams like Bournemouth, Southampton, they're going out and spending money and buying forwards because we
ain't got money.
They know their goals get. If they can keep a clean sheet, they only need to score one goal. So it's the simplest game in the world. Football. Keep a clean sheet, you get a point. Score one goal, you get 3 points. It's as simple as that. If you can keep a clean sheet,
we just need
and
to go to
score one
basic.
goal, that's it. You can get 3 points. And you do that like 10 times a season, putting a couple of draws in there as well. And you sound that it's not really that complicated, sort of.
We've just got to hope for that, though, haven't we? We've got to hope for that.
Trying to play football with a team that isn't good enough to play football. And he needs to learn to be more pragmatic and just accept the limitations of this squad of players. We aren't good enough to play through the lines. We're like taking the ball off Tarkowski and whatever, and then trying to pass it into midfield and whatever. It just gets you counted on because eventually we're going to lose the ball because they don't. I've noticed that what's happened now is teams don't press us anymore, right?
They just let us have the ball and lose it. Yeah. I know what you mean.
They don't press us up front anymore. They're not like trying to force us to lose the ball, like, nick the ball off us high. They're literally just letting us have the ball and letting us get it into midfield. And then they press us because then when they take the ball off us, like they're straight through us like a hot knife through butter. They don't need to play a high press against us because they know that we're not really a threat. They can sit back and just nick the ball off us. And then 1, 2, 3. And it was literally like 3 passes and bang, straight in the back of our net, like 3 seconds later after we've lost the ball. We did that against United. it was Onana, I think, who lost the ball over on the left-hand side. And like 3 passes later, it's in the back of the net. Brighton, it was the same again. We lost the ball, like straight through one, straight through another, bang, and it's in the back of the net. And it's just like, it was easy. It was so easy for them to do it. And it's like, well, we're playing to their strengths, and we can't afford to do that. We have to play to our strengths. We have to recognize our limitations and play within those, and play in a way that other teams don't enjoy playing against us, make us hard to beat, like win tackles, like play it long if we have to, and then just, but this team going 9 minutes. What was that? Sorry,
this team going 90 minutes without making a defense. I'll just put on without making a defensive fouler is rare. But we agree with that. We know that. We know.
Yeah.
On what you've just said, I think that what we've got to do, we'll drop the scores now after this, and then we'll end the channel for today, and we'll be on it after the game. But I think, like I say, they are stressful. But
are you optimistic for tomorrow?
Yeah, I do. No.
I'm looking to you for positivity.
The thing is, if you've got me on Twitter, go on my Twitter and have a look at a video that I just put up, because Everton means so much to me, and it's generations of people that it meant so much to them. Even when Dixie Dean was around, you look at people black and white frigging times, and with the videos black and white, you see Dixie Dean coming out in the tunnel and the Everton fans, and they loved Everton now. And I made that video, and someone tweeted and they said the fans are always the same. They're always, and it really pissed me off that Moshiri tried to blame the fans, because I found that ridiculous, because the fans is the best thing about Everton. And I just think, I'm not deluded, by the way. I know if we stay like we are, Jeff, we'll go down. But do I believe that these players have got better in them? Yes. Now,
I think, yeah,
that's the thing.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you in the respect of, this team should be good enough to not be relegated. Like mid-table, I don't see that's a possibility. But this team is good enough that if we play in a specific way, like we can get 13,
grind
14,
it out,
15,
like you said. Just
grind it out.
Do the dirty work, and
that's
win
fine.
Because the thing is, you can win games that you don't deserve to win.
Yeah,
it's so easy. Yeah, just get.
Yeah,
you don't need to be better than a team to win. We drew against Man City, come back from 1-0. We didn't deserve that, but we got it. And every game's like that. You're in every game. You've just got to take your chances and defend well, and that will help. And that's why I'm positive, just because I want to see that. And it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's so fucking basic, like you said. Just defend fucking well. Stay compact as a team, and that's it. Right, scores. Drop your scores now, because I've seen people started dropping the scores. So people in the comments, we're going to end it in 5 minutes or whatever.
Right, let's have a look. We've got some teams. 2-0.
What's your score, Jeff?
Oh, God.
Why are you reading them out? What's your score? What's the next one that someone's put? Right, Michael Winstead's put 0 optimism. I understand.
Okay. Right, I haven't said
Go on,
everything.
Jeff. Give your score. Remember, you have to come on the channel after, and people are going to remember it. It's always me that looks stupid, not you.
I know.
Everton 2-0. Yes, that's it. Great.
I'm going to go 3-1 Everton. Calvert-Lewin to get the goal he's didn't get in the other game.
Calvert-Lewin's due to score, isn't he? He is due.
Great to get another one. And Onana to actually get a header. There you go.
3-1. Onana to get. Yeah, I'm waiting for Onana to score as well, to be fair. And I think, but I don't know if he's going to play the number 6. I did say play him higher, but then someone grilled me for it. But he could still score a header from a corner, couldn't he? So
he should be getting on the end of something in the box, shouldn't he? He's
got to head a ball at that tall.
He should be able to head the ball. Maybe he needs to get a new head. He'll shave his head or something.
2-0. Gray 20% goal. DCL. Gray and DCL. A lot have got Gray in the head, so that's what I say about Gray. He must be playing better if he's got people confident.
Gordon's back as well, so maybe he could
He's due a goal as well, yeah.
He could come in.
Everyone's due a goal because we ain't been scoring, but I just think, like you say, he might have something to prove. A lot did say about Anthony Gordon that he needed a bit of time out. they said loads was on him and he needed a bit of time out.
Was he fatigued as well? Like
I think just not for that, Jeff. The reason Gordon was out is because he had the flu. But a lot of people were saying that with all the rumours that went around, it got to him, and I think it did because he started scoring at one patch, and then the rumours come out. These players have got things get to them, and if the rumours are that you're going to leave or you're 60 million. Gets to their heads, doesn't it? And they start thinking there's something they're not and don't want to actually be that player and earn it. So maybe he'll come back fighting. He'll think to himself, they've been playing without me. Because Jeff, when you watch a game, you want to play, don't you? And Gordon probably has been wanting to play. So hopefully he'll come and be decent.
Yeah, and this is the thing is this team has to fight. This team has to, go on this pitch and, die for the shirt.
Yeah, with the fans, because the fans will.
And I'm that Brighton game. I got a last minute ticket to the match off one of the other lads on the channel, Basil. He was like, "Oh yeah, we've got a spare ticket for the game. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Right, okay, so nice one." And it was worst decision I've ever made. I left. We were 4-0 down. And it's one of the most horrific performances I've ever seen. And that was the last time we were at Goodison Park. So if those players don't come on that pitch wanting to put right that horror show and show that they're better than that, when does personal pride kick in? It's all well and good playing pretty games in your head, but at some point, when does personal pride come into this? Is we're better than this. You're saying we're a better team than this, and I'd like to believe that we're a better team than we've shown. And it's but at some point, fans cheering and putting off flares, that's all well and good and all of that. But at some point, these players have got to take personal responsibility and go, this is my club. These are my fans. This is my house. That's an expression from American football, isn't it? It's this is my house. That's the way the American footballers go. It's this is my house. This is, you don't come to my house and win. This is my fucking house. That's our house. That's Everton, Goodison Park. That's our fucking house. And for one of our teams, the last 3-4, I think it's 4 out of the last 5 home games, we've lost at our patch. When's personal pride come into this? This is our house. We don't lose it in our house. That's what I want to see is the attitude from our players.
Or for me, you're
going to beat us on our patch. You're going to have to take us out, properly take us out.
It's your home. For me, all we can do, the reason I say about atmosphere, all we can do is we can't go on the pitch and do anything, but we can show them round the pitch how much Everton mean to us. And you just hope that when that atmosphere is like that and your hearts are singing out, that those players know what it means to you and pick it up and play with you, because the fans are singing and they've done it before. Last season was loads. When the fans get going, it does build the players with confidence. I just hope that they get behind them and that we stay up. Like someone just said there, fight like the dogs of war. Eventually, it's got to kick in. And the one thing I will say is that we have got Cody, Jeff. I don't think Cody's been playing well, and I don't think Tarkowski's been playing well. I think they've gone downhill a little bit, but I think they'll get back up to what they need to be.
The whole team have been poor.
Yeah, but I do think last season, Jeff, when we was in the relegation battle, I couldn't see any characters. I do think Cody will be saying what we're saying in the changing room, like you've just said. Play like it means something to you. Play like this is your home. Give absolutely everything, and we just got to keep pushing until we get that.
If you heard I'm not giving them too much credit. Believe me, I'm definitely not giving them too much credit. I'm just trying to be optimistic and hope that I see something better than what I've seen. I'm not giving them credit. I'm giving them license to hang themselves. But go and prove me wrong, because everything I've said, as we've talked for the last hour or so, is like reality and what I think and what I like, you know. So sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, and like that's fine and whatever. But I mean, heart to heart, I'm a Blue, and I want to see these players giving everything. And yeah, they're a gang of shit houses, and like I don't want to give them credit, but like Dan says, we have to support them because they're our team, and we don't want them to be relegated. So like I want to see them give a better show of themselves, and if they turn out like a gang of shithouses, like the Brighton game,
That's on them,
I'll
not on
be
you
on
getting
it
behind them. Yeah, but
I'll be
that's
on
on
it
them.
straight afterwards, giving them all the stick that they deserve. But I want us to win, you know. So up the fucking
But that's on there. That's on the players if they let you down.
Yeah.
You've got to try and get behind them no
Personal
matter what.
responsibility.
And the other thing is these a lot of these players haven't got the manager sacked. Cody hasn't got the manager sacked. Tarkowski hasn't got the manager sacked. Patterson hasn't. Onana hasn't. Garner Gay hasn't. McNeil hasn't. A lot of them haven't. These players, a lot of them are new players. Yeah, a lot of them are what they do now. We've got in our heads, this is the same Everton. This is the same. Most of these are new players, and we've got to hope that the fucking ain't like the idiots that used to get the managers sacked. And these ones have a bit of a different personality. Now, they might not do at the minute. They're not showing it. I'll 100% agree with you. If they stay like they are, and I think they've been massively underperforming, by the way, if they stay like that, we will go down 100%. But will I get behind them to be better when I know that they're probably playing 30, 40%? Will I want them to all play 100%? Yes, and I'll always push for that. Because Everton's our team. We don't want them idiots to take us down. We've got to get behind them and push them and give them a kick up the fucking backside because we need our team to stay up. This team means more to us than it does them.
Yeah, according to what I've heard, they're doing a greeting the coach thing before the game again. So there's going to be thousands of people there, like at least an hour and a half before the game.
Greet the coach.
So like, I know there's going to be like a sit-in protest after the game, but that doesn't mean we're not going to support the team before the game and during the game. Like there's going to be like welcoming the coach. There's going to be an atmosphere. But like at some point, like we can do our bit, but that's all we can do. At some point, it like I said, personal responsibility. They've got to show something. That's what I want to see tomorrow. And if they do show something and we get a bit of confidence, it could be one of those days like the Crystal Palace game where like it was like watching a whole different team. It was fantastic. And that's what I'd love to see tomorrow. And then like hopefully like win, get some goals so the strikers get some confidence. They've got some goals under their belt, and then we can go to Ginger Scott's house down in London, and we can take something off that game as well because they're in a similar situation to us. And you know, if we can get like 4 points or 6 points from these next two games, suddenly things look better. And then we bring in some players, even if it's on loan, like just some help. Suddenly things can look a little bit better, so we can turn around. But like we've got to see it, you know. Like hope it gets so far.
We just need to pick up some form. Like I say, one good game, hopefully.
Right, so we're wrapping up this show now.
Yeah. One thing I will say is before I'm shutting it on this now. I'm going to end it. Like Jeff's just said, the fans are doing a greeting. It looks like the fans are going to do all the flares and be like there was to keep them up. They don't want to do it, but they're going to do it because they love Everton. And whilst the game's going on, all of the fans are going to get behind Everton to win because we really want Everton to win. But a lot of Everton fans, if you don't know, are going to stop behind because the board have took the piss, the owners took the piss, and they're going to let them know that they've took the piss and like protest to say this isn't good enough and kind of say they want you out. But if you're not going to go, we want better. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, Blues, Toffees, Jeff, everyone, love you all. I know it's hard. I know you're down, but try and stay positive.
Don't forget
I know it's hard. Like the stream, subscribe, and we will be back after the game. Pop on. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't wait. I just want it to come now. I can't wait, but I might cry. Up the fucking toffees.
Up the toffees. Catch us all later.